Erik Ten Hag has solved Antony's two main issues at Manchester United with one tactical switch. It was a moment of Samba solidarity at Old Trafford, Casemiro wrapping his left hand around Antony and pointing to him with his right, demanding Manchester United fans salute the creator as well as the goalscorer. "On my first goal, Antony's pass was incredible," Casemiro explained after the game. "I know that people focus on who scored, but I wanted to give him a bit of love as the pass was magic. He's an important player for us. It was a wonderful pass from one Brazilian to another." Antony spotting Casemiro's forward run and finding the geometry to thread a perfect pass into him that simply needed scooping over Joe Lumley. Casemiro's words of praise were also interesting. Antony has perhaps been in need of a bit of love recently, having struggled to adapt in his first season in the Premier League, and the scrutiny has been on his performances in recent weeks. It's fair to say the £85 million winger has struggled to look like the kind of player that normally comes with that price tag so far. United will be adamant this is a long-term investment, but they also ended up overpaying for a 22-year-old who they could have got for less had they committed to a deal with Ajax earlier in the summer. But this week has been one of promise, even if the standard of opposition in Nottingham Forest and Reading needs to be taken into account. Antony's week began with a resilient message on social media just hours after his form had been raised in the embargoed section of Erik Ten Hag's press conference to preview the Carabao Cup semi-final. "Seeking to evolve to give my best to the team," Antony wrote, and he's been true to his mantra this week. He was much brighter against Nottingham Forest at the City Ground, taking the shot from which Wout Weghorst scored and causing the opposition defense a problem with his quick feet. He should have scored himself, only to be denied by Wayne Hennessy. It was a similar story against Reading, going close in the first half before creating the opener just after the break. Key to Antony's improved performances this week has been receiving the ball in higher positions, where he is already in an area where he can hurt the opposition. For all of United's improvements under Ten Hag this season, they have remained, for the most part, a counter-attacking team. That doesn't suit Antony, and when he picks the ball up around the halfway line on the break, he has a couple of issues. Firstly, he doesn't have the pace to maintain those surges and usually likes to slow the game down, putting his studs on top of the ball to assess his options and draw defenders to him. Secondly, it's pretty clear he has little inclination to use his right foot, but when dribbling he also often uses the instep of his left foot. When trying to break, this usually means he continues to push himself towards the touchline until he has nowhere to go but back, an action which usually irritates supporters and teammates. Contrast that with Marcus Rashford at the City Ground in midweek. He received a pass from Casemiro near the touchline but used the outside of his right foot to continue nudging the ball in field during his run, eventually bursting into the area to score. The reality is that has never been Antony's game, and in his 2 seasons for Ajax and the Eredivisie, he would usually receive possession in the final third, using skills to beat defenders and either create chances or find room to shoot. Against Forest and Reading, United have turned in more dominant performances, and that has benefited Antony. They've had the midfield controlling games, and that has meant passes are going into the front 3 in the final third, rather than closer to the halfway line. When that happens, Antony usually collects possession facing the penalty area, ready to try and drive forwards. It feels like that is the key to keeping his momentum going, and for all the progress this week, his manager knows there is plenty more to come. "I have more experience with him," said Ten Hag. "We have to challenge him, and if you challenge him, he can adapt and adjust his game." In other news, Ahmed has done what Manchester United manager Erik Ten Hag asked him to do, with Ahmed having cost Manchester United £19 million plus £18 in add-ons. In January 2021, it is still somewhat of a surprise that the 20-year-old has only made 9 first-team appearances for the Reds, especially with just 3 of those coming as a starter. However, his loan spell at Sunderland this season has indicated that he is ready to kick on whenever he does return to Old Trafford. The Ivorian has enjoyed a successful period with the Black Cats in recent months, with the forward registering 7 goals in 21 championship matches, as well as 1 assist. Ahmed scored 3 goals in 5 matches in December. Having played an important role for Tony Mowbray's side this term, it didn't come as much of a shock when the United loanee was named PFA and EFL Young Player of the Month for last month. Sunderland look well placed to finish inside the playoff places, but the form of Ahmed between now and the end of the season could determine whether or not they achieve their aim. The 20-year-old has seen Alejandro Garnacho and Facundo Pellistri, players of a similar age to him, feature for United this season, but he is doing exactly what is needed to better his game. Ahmed's loan spell at Rangers last term was rather underwhelming, but fast forward a year and he is now thriving. His 7th league goal of the campaign came in the win over Middlesbrough in the Wear-Tees Derby, and was very much an example of why United made such an effort to recruit him. Earlier this month, Erik Ten Hag admitted that he was reluctant to recall Ahmed from his impressive season-long loan spell at Sunderland. The Reds have a recall option, and prior to the addition of Wout Weghorst, there were suggestions that Ten Hag could look to bring the youngster back to Old Trafford early. Much like Dean Henderson at Nottingham Forest, Ahmed's loan spell has, so far, been a success. The young attacker has proven that he can perform in a first-team environment, and his goal return and December accolades are proof that he is more than capable of adding substance to his play. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash the like button and make sure to subscribe to Man United Hub to get all the latest updates.